Sorry, there was no sound there, Shawnee. We were all on mute for some fucking reason. Welcome to the Midweek Fix. I'm going to have to edit that now, am I, Shawnee? Welcome to the Midweek Fix. It's the call-in show, and it is Gav, it is Shawnee, and yeah, we'll have guests on throughout the next hour, hopefully, when we release the link. Show is brought to you by bookmakers.com. Check them out for all the best odds from all the bookmakers if you like to gamble, and if you do so responsibly. If you don't, stats, comparisons, previews, articles, all sorts of stuff over there for people that do or don't gamble. Shawnee, I'd like to start this evening, and I'd like to start with Mo Salah. Is that okay with you?
No quarrels with that, Gav. No quarrels at all.
So, I was having a chat with you last night, and I said to you, he looked so happy on that pitch playing football the other day. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't happy playing with Mane or Firmino or anybody else, but there's something different about Mo Salah for me. There's something where we always talk about him being a brilliant player. Is he a leader? And I mean that by a leader of men, right? Because he's a leader in the goals he scores. I'm going to give you some stats in a minute. But can you see, am I just seeing things, Shawnee? Am I making this up in my own head? Because I get the feeling, particularly with Gakpo and Nunes, that he's just like wants to give them the ball, wants to give them opportunities, over the moon when they score. It's like he's found these two kids that he's going to nurture at the back end of his career for Liverpool to turn them into possibly the next Mo Salah or the next main man for Liverpool.
Yeah, look, it was a difficult start to the season, like given Mo's lofty standards that he's the ridiculous standard that he set ever since he's kind of come into the club, and I found like he was kind of a victim of the system for much earlier part of the season. Like we look back at games and he's getting the ball and he has chalk on his boots, and that's just not something that he had been doing since he came to Liverpool. You know, he was always kind of interchanging with Bobby and coming inside. Now Salah was predictable in a way, like Arjen Robben predictable. Like you know what I'm gonna do, but you won't be able to stop me, sort of thing. But the kind of zip went down his game. But he looked a lot more like himself on Sunday. And I agree with your point in terms of Gakpo. You can see already there's an understanding there with Nunes, Gakpo and Salah, where they're starting to kind of understand each other's movements a little bit more, and they're starting to kind of complement each other's games a little bit more. And you can see every time Mo got the ball, normally he's looking to get the head up and go inside, but you can see him now looking for Gakpo's runs, and Gakpo's making the run every single time. He's not getting it every single time, but the two times he does get it, you see the impact he can have. So I agree with what you're saying in terms of taking up a new role in the squad. I think you can go back a little bit a while where it kind of seems that not maybe that Mo was shunned from leadership responsibilities, but remember, apparently his agent came out saying that he was disheartened by the fact that Trent was made captain ahead of him in the Champions League dead rubber away to Michelin. And I only recently listening to the Andy Robertson podcast, Robertson was talking about how they have a fine system and the type of players that collect them. And I think it was Peter McDowell, the lad's name said, is Mo not part of that? And Robbo made a comment that Mo is a leader in a different way, where everybody very much respects his opinion, but he sort of leads by example in terms of his work ethic, day in, day out on the training ground. And we know that he has a very close relationship with Harvey Elliott, and he's kind of taken him under his wing. And Elliott spoke about Mo's levels of professionalism and what's needed to get to his level. And I don't think one thing you could never question with Mo, whether he was in and out form, is professionalism. But what you're seeing now is Mo Salah in form is in my opinion, the best footballer in the Premier League. Right up there with Kevin De Bruyne when he's in form. He's absolutely unplayable. And we're starting to see that again. You see him attacking fullbacks and attacking space, and the pace and the zip looks to be back, and his head is up and he's not thinking about what he's doing. It's all instinctive as football is. And that's when Mao's at his very best. And you can only think that Núñez and Gakpo are going to get better playing with this fella. And he might even bring out a different side to Mao's game. 2 goals and 2 assists on the weekend. It is an unbelievable return. And they're all talking up Marcus Rashford, who, look, let's be honest, he's having a good season.
He's having a great season.
He's having a brilliant season. But a finished Mo Salah, who should be sold in the summer and should have never been given an absorbent amount of money in his new contract, has more goals and assist contributions than the best wide forward in the world, as given that title by the likes of TalkSport and all. Mo has more goals and assists than him, and him catching form at this time of the season literally couldn't have been.
It's a bit 2021, isn't it? When he literally just sprung into action and got his top 4. It's starting to
and I think I honestly think I don't think he gets enough credit for that run of games. 2010, that season, that last 10 games, he kind of dragged us over the line, you know. Mo has been fucking unbelievable. Like, we haven't even touched on his records or anything.
Well, here's his record, right? Because I looked it up today. I read something today and then I went, wow. And then I said, I better go and look that up, just because I couldn't find the tweet. So, Mo Salah, 205 league games, 129 goals, 53 assists. That's 182 goal involvements in 205 games. Total, 291 games, 178 goals and 69 assists, which by my reckoning puts her at 247 goal involvements in 291 games. And the reason I'm saying, I'm not saying Mo Salah never looked happy at Liverpool or never looked, he's looked happy at Liverpool loads and loads, but I think when you talk about Robertson, saying he's a leader in different ways, if you look at what's around him now, I think he loves playing with Mane. Who wouldn't? He loves playing with Firmino. Who wouldn't? But when you talk about he's really close to Elliott, right? And then look at the rest of the players around, right? Even if you throw Carvalho in there, and then Jota, Núñez, Diaz, Gakpo, he's the last one of the first team built by Jurgen Klopp, and he's probably going, I'll show you how it's done. And yeah, he's had to lead by example for Liverpool plenty of times, but he's had these 2 guys that were there before him as not a fallback, but they have as much responsibility as I have. And now I think it looks like he's just gone, do you know what? I have I have to take all the responsibility now. And I don't mean that in a way where he has to shoot every time and do everything. He just seems to be taking the responsibility of orchestrating this attack. Like Laszlo says there, the pass to Gakpo for the second was instructive. He knew exactly how difficult it was going to be to finish and still trusted him to do it.
And if I remember we spoke about it last night. Like, it seems that like the games where we've looked much better is when you could see that there was clear patterns of play and stuff that we had worked on. For example, the 2 goals against Newcastle, that they were completely off the training ground. You can see that's probably stuff that had been drilled all week. The Núñez goal and Gakpo's goal, and you kind of seen that on Sunday. In the best example, where that ball in behind the Gakpo, he knew every time. But you can see he even plays that pass down to Bobby for Bobby's goal. Where I can't remember too many times where Mo played Bobby in behind. So there's obviously an evolution here, and I think it's a great point you made. Dynamics of a dressing room are something that's, I think, greatly overlooked by outsiders and just the everyday average football fan. We don't realise how important certain players might be around. Now, what you could gather from the debates had whether he was a better player, I know some people preferred Mane and some people compared Salah. I think one thing you would say is that it seemed to me that Mane was probably a bigger presence around the dressing room than Mo. He seemed to be a lot closer to a lot of the lads than Mo. But it's a good point you said now. Nearly all of them boys there who are left with Bobby going in the summer will be looking up to him now as the
even more so. They'll always look up to him because he's a ridiculous player.
He's that senior figure now
in the attack, yeah,
on the top end of the pitch, and like you can kind of see the boys a little bit in awe of him. I love the reception that he got from the players and the staff after the game, in terms of Trent doing the celebration, but Klopp going to him and all the staff going to him. You could tell, like, Mo reminds me a little bit of Ronaldo in a sense where the drive to be better every single week is there. That hunger will never leave him. I don't think until the day he retires. Even talking about Ronaldo now going on and doing what he's done, Mo does seem like that in a way where he's selfishly competitive, you know, where he came out and said, I can't lie to you, I've been thinking about this record for weeks. You know, it's been something that's been on my mind, and like it's incredible. He's a top goal scorer in the Champions League. He's a top goal scorer in the Premier League. Like, you can argue this fella is the greatest Liverpool player of the modern era, like since the late 80s. He's right up there. You know, up there with Gerrard. Up there, he's definitely in the conversation. That's how good he's been, and I don't think there's any worry in him slowing down. I know people were getting worried about him earlier on in the season, but he was just out of form. Look at the fucking shape of him. You know what I mean? He's going to continue on at a very high level.
He takes the top off him. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? He's chiseled, like, you know what I mean?
It's just, it's going to be interesting now to see. I think the older Mo gets, I think the closer to the goal you'll see him getting in terms of being more central. Because
I think you're seeing at the weekend that, you know, is Mo Salah as fast as he was in 2017? I don't know. Someone's probably recording the speed of him. But there's no doubt, you know, you wouldn't be looking at... He's not at the stage where you look at him this season going, you might have to move him centrally next season. It's nowhere near that stage yet. And the thing is, like, what encourages me as much as anything else is his head up looking for passes now. It's that creator... look, loads of players get assists, right? You can get assists off anything, right? But it's the creative side of it now. It's not just he smashed the ball across goal and someone tapped it in. He's playing really good balls into people. Now, the one he plays, Laszlo said earlier, the one he plays for Gakpo was brilliant, but it's still a ridiculous finish. And yeah, I think by the time he's finished, you know, he has to be argued to be in possibly the top 5 players of Liverpool all time, because when you look at it, you know, you see defenders and they'll talk about Hansen and they'll talk about Van Dijk. You'll see midfielders and they'll talk about Molby and they'll talk about Barnes, Gerrard, whatever it may. Up front, you'll talk Dalglish, Rush, whoever. But when you look at his goal record and the amount of records he's broken, you have to put him up there. And I think like, we can have this argument every season when he hits 20 goals every season and come back to it. But it's probably when he finishes up. You know, like, we'll definitely do something on Bobby Firmino. I'm going to do a little bit on him now, but we'll definitely do something at the end of the season where you can take stock of the whole thing and talk about him. But just moving on to Firmino, the reception he got at Anfield was unbelievable on Sunday when he came on. You know, when you're in the Kop at Anfield, you know there's loads of noise coming out of the Kop, and you're kind of trying to spot areas in the ground to see, are these getting involved here? You know, a lot of people in the ground will sit, clap and sing. But honestly, Firmino comes on, the song starts, and the 90% of the ground are up. And they're swinging scarves. And it was just like a mad rush of emotion when he came on. And when it's 6-0, I'm saying to myself, if Firmino gets one here, like, it's going to be ridiculous, you know. And there was a lad beside me, literally turned to me and went, I think he's going to get one, isn't he? And I went, well, listen, if there was ever a chance to do it today, because we just keep scoring. And then when he scores, you can see the emotion in him. He's usually very happy and go lucky when he scores, but there's real kind of fierce emotion in him, and it was brilliant to see, wasn't it?
Look, another one's going out the door, and this one is going to hurt me more than the rest. But I'm delighted that Bobby is getting a farewell tour when Sadio didn't really. There was a lot of Willy won't he? And he deserved one, fully deserved one, don't get me wrong. And Genie Wijnaldum went, and it was COVID, and it was like there was only 15,000 people at the game or something. So they didn't really get the send off that he wanted. But Kobe, Firmino's gonna be like this the Kobe Bryant tour when he was retiring, and it's gonna be fanfare. And he's proved that like his return has actually been decent this year when he's played and he's been fit. So it's not like he's being brought on like fucking. They brought Paul Gascoigne onto a charity match bleeding to run around in the box for 10 minutes. And like Bobby is going to contribute, I think, in the back end of the season. He's going to play a part. He's still a fucking brilliant footballer. But like even that bleeding Morg Anthony, Martin Tyler said it, that was the one they wanted. And honestly, I think if you had been asking 95% of the people at Anfield on Sunday that who gets the last goal, like if it's a winner on Sunday, I'd imagine
going Firmino.
A large majority would have said Bobby, me included.
Yeah.
So it's the end of an era, but it was sort of a passing of the torch moment, wasn't it? You really see these boys growing into the roles. It's early doors, but they're really starting to settle now, and you can see that there's a genuine connection, definitely between Gakpo and Nunes, and I think that's going to be drilled massively now between now and at the start of the next season, because Klopp loves that. Klopp loves his partnerships. He was the same at Dortmund when he had Royce, Lewandowski and Götze. He always finds ways to make it work, and he built as good a front three as we've ever seen in the Premier League with Mane, Salah and Bobby. And people kind of had reservations around Gakpo and Nunes, thinking that maybe they're similar type of players. And but you can see now that there's chaos and there's calm between the two boys. And I think they're both as capable of each other as cause. And like Gakpo was like I think Gakpo's first game might be away to Wolves in the FA Cup.
Was it Brighton?
That's his first league game. I'm not sure. Anyway, well,
there might be Wolves actually. All right.
Yeah,
I think
he had moments and he really impressed me. I like players who can take the ball at the back of the goal and turn on it and get at defenders, and he does that really well. And he has those really long strides. And Darwin Núñez, like, I wouldn't play it down saying he's a cult hero. He's a fucking animal. I think if you block the noise out from social media, and you look at his return, you're thinking this fella's going to explode next year, which I think he will. I think like Darwin Núñez has the talent to literally be whatever he wants. Probably just needs to keep his head on a little bit. But I think those two boys
home to Wolves in the cup. Phil Murphy says you're right.
Yeah, them two boys mixed with a little bit of Diaz to come back, Jota off the bench, and a veteran Mo Salah who still has plenty in the tank. I think all the worry about midfield and what might be happening at defence, I don't think you can have any quarrels about our attack being covered for the next few years.
And I was going to ask you, and I'll ask you in a sec, because a lot of people over the weekend said this to me, so I'm going to shout at you. But Bobby Firmino, the way he's carried himself at Liverpool has been brilliant. He's never been an ounce of trouble, well, bar one time. But he's never been an ounce of trouble directly to Jurgen Klopp. There's talk that he might stay. Then there's very quiet. And then there's no messing about. You know, he's got... The story is he goes to his representative and says, no, you don't speak to nobody until I speak to Jurgen Klopp. He goes to Jurgen Klopp, he explains the situation. Jurgen Klopp, probably shakes his hand and says, absolutely fine. But it's not going to be one where he just dwindles away for the next 3 months. He's going to play a massive part. And I'd argue that, it's what he could do for some of these players in the next 3 months, or what he's done already in the previous 5 or 6 or whatever, since he's been at the club, the likes of Gakpo, it's going to be massive. Because you can already see in Gakpo he has to be learning off all the coaches, but what Firmino does, he has to be watching videos of Firmino because he's picking up these positions all the time where you go, Firmino does that. Firmino does that. Gets it out of his feet and he gets the ball quick to the wingers. Firmino always done that. But the added element of Gakpo is the running power, where he's able to pull out. He's able to pull out wide, and you're able to say to him, "You can." You know, you'd often see Firmino drop out wide, and you'd see Mane come in, but you're never going to put Firmino in behind somebody. Whereas Gakpo has that running power and that winger's instinct, I suppose, where he's just a perfect blend, you know, for what you do. And for me, Firmino's just been brilliant at Liverpool. And yeah, a lot of people think it's the right time. I would have probably given him another season, you know, but if the lads are going to bet in this well and Firmino wants to go, you have to respect his wishes. But you talk Salah, you talk Jota, Diaz, Gakpo, Nunes. A lot of people over the weekend are saying,
and I genuinely believe, I believe Ben Doak is going to be a superstar.
You love Ben Doak.
Yeah, I'm really big on him. I genuinely am.
Would you agree with a lot of people that said to me over the weekend, if Firmino's gone, we need one more? Ben Doak aside, of course. Or Carvalho, or the other fella who was
forgetting his name. Like needing one more, like, in terms of, like, if we're going to be signing a forward at the detriment of that extra defender that we'll need, and maybe the extra centre-back that we need, or centre-mid that we need, then I wouldn't do it. But I seen talk today that Newcastle are looking at Jota, and to be honest with you, I love Jota. I love Jota, but I was kind of thinking to myself, I've had a bit of an epiphany today, thinking, Jota, he's brilliant, but his availability can be questioned. And if the price is right, I would certainly be thinking about it.
I disagree.
It's just, Gav, the only thing is about, like, I love Jota as a player, but I think, like, if we can, and now, like, and I'm talking with the price is right, if Newcastle are going to give you 65-70 million for this fella, then I'm taking it.
I suppose big money like that, like Emma says, there is whisperings of Jota might be moving on. But you see, when I look at our front line, I see Salah, right? That's fine, and that's where I'd probably look to bring somebody in, not somebody that's absolutely nailed on to play, somebody that's, maybe it is Doak, maybe he is just good enough at that age, I don't know. But when I look at Diaz as an out-and-out winger, right? Nunes can definitely play left and central. People will still question what his finishing is like, but I think it'll get better. And Gakpo can play left and central as well, even in that 10 if he wanted. And he's starting to already look like a bit of a Firmino regen. The thing with Jota is he's so hard working, right? He can play left, he can definitely play right, but I think he's the best finisher out of them all. And that's where I think...
Yeah, wouldn't argue with that.
I think that's where he's a killer.
No, I 100%.
You know, and I think no, don't get me wrong, 65-70 million for Jota. He's been out injured a couple of times, and maybe if we're 6 months down the road from here and we're looking into a January window and he's missed a load of games, you go, you know what, now maybe the time. But he's the killer in the squad for me. You know, I think if I was to ask of a chance to fall to any of them, I still think I'd pick Jota over a lot of them. And that's where I think he fits in the squad. You know what I mean? But if Jota stays, are you bringing someone in? Would you go with Ben Doak? Because I've no problem with it either way. I have Bertie ready to come on as well.
Yeah, I've not, like, I got lashed on a pod for saying that we should be giving Bajcetic and Ben Doak minutes before fucking Stevie B, as they're calling him, got a run in the team. So, like, if these lads are good enough, then they're old enough. I just, me worry with Jota is, yeah, he is our best finisher, Gav, but, like, I don't want it to fall into the category of Keita is probably our best progressive presser of the ball, but you need to think about his availability. And Jota's had a couple of injuries. Now, albeit I'm nearly sure they've all been impact injuries that he suffered at Liverpool. But if the price is right, Gav, and not to open a can of worms, if what John Henry said that we're gonna have to be clever.
Oh, you're opening that can of worms.
No, but like, if he said, if what he said, if you take what he said literal, then if you're being clever and you're being creative, I'm looking at getting them out, but I'm saying getting them out in the sense that you're getting 65 million, 70 million pound for it.
Mm.
That's the only way.
Mm.
You know, like,
and to be honest with you, it'd be a change in tact from Liverpool if they turn around and decide.
But I think that's what
for 45. Am I going to sell him for 65? All right, yeah, you make a profit, but it's not like we haven't stood alongside players or stood by players that had injury records. Do you know what I mean?
But you're erring on the side of sentiment there, which has bitten us.
No, I'm not. I'm saying the club have a track record for standing by players that have poor injury records. Yeah. So it's a bit of a bit of a surprise out of them all. Jota will probably be the surprise.
Yeah, people are saying I think the calf came off the bone against City, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a bad one against City.
That's a bad that's not a normal muscle injury. That's like your Achilles gone. It can be quite bad. But look, it's going to be interesting. The wheels are starting to turn in terms of players that might be on the way out. But you'll have to just see. But I'm going to let Bertie jump in there.
I think we should jump on. I don't know what Bertie's question or comment is, but we definitely should jump on to Bertie on more pressing issues. Like, have you seen that the Eurovision sold out, Bertie, in 36 minutes?
Yeah.
Did you get one?
No.
I
can't hear the thing.
Did you try get one?
I can't hear myself.
Doesn't matter. We can hear you.
It's working.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, no, I didn't get a Eurovision ticket. Wasn't a fucking hope. I tried as soon as it was announced. Not a fucking chance.
And would you have went?
Oh yeah, Liverpool session.
Yeah, that's true. It's not. Yeah, is it only because it's Liverpool? Like if it had been on in Hamburg, would you have went?
Yeah, session.
So it doesn't matter. Okay, so you're just using the Eurovision as a reason to go out.
Was it Gerrard's comment that if Liverpool played a game on the moon, the fans will find a way there?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's one for Albert. If the Eurovision was on the moon, Albert would be bleeding, giving Buzz Aldrin a bell to see if the story was if any Nicks was on.
I went to fucking Paris last year and didn't even go to the bleeding the fan park.
Yeah.
I just went on a jolly out with me mate just to sample up the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now, it's a good job I didn't go to the fan park. It would have been pepper sprayed now on me. But no, it's grand.
Yeah.
Like I go fucking anywhere. It's great. I love to travel. You know.
Come here.
But I just wanted to ring in just to say that I've watched 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, 7 Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I drank loads of cans of 7-Up, and when I get a chance, I'm going to find a 7-Eleven somewhere. So you know yourself, 7's being very important to me this week. Yeah. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah. It's a fucking beautiful week. Put that them in their place. It's beautiful. It was.
Where did you watch it?
Like, was it? Everybody's doing the Salt Bay thing. You know, that's what it was. It was just. And fair play to you, Gav.
Is that your man that makes the steaks and throws a load of salt?
Yeah, he's a gobshite, but he did that. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
Loud and deadly. Loved it.
Wasn't he on the pitch?
Do you know how great it was? What?
Wasn't he on the pitch at the World Cup final?
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot, he is.
He's pouring salt all over Di Maria in the goal line and all that.
Yeah, he thought he was a blading fresh cotton chips or something. But, fucking, saying of blading, what was I going to say? Yeah, I'll tell you how good Sunday was, right? My mate died a few years ago, right? Jesus, now, he's all right now. I'm just saying. My mate died a few years ago.
But he's all right now.
Yeah, he was dead for about 20 minutes, but one of them, his man calls him the miracle and all that shit.
Played Lazarus.
Yeah, his man calls him the miracle.
Oh God, I'm afraid where this is going.
Gas he is. He mate Mick. But what do you call it? I was round at his house, and he's not allowed. He's not allowed to get on fucking,
Yeah.
Don't be going mad, Mick. He goes, yes, he's not old, but he goes on like an outlet. But what do you call it? When the 6th goal went in, he's fucking hopping around the sitting room. And Mrs. goes in. Will you relax? Fuck off! I don't give a bollocks. Ah! You'll have another heart attack, you mad bastard. That's how great it was.
Oh God.
He was willing to die just to be that happy.
He died a few years ago, but he's all right now.
Yeah.
I still can't get over that. But anyway,
it's true.
So he survived it anyway.
Yeah, I was touch and go with him, but he had a heart attack in work. And he's a painter and decorator, so he's probably shocked that that's what he had to do a bit of work, He's a lazy bollocks. But he had a heart attack and then he went to fucking, he was in a coma for 3 weeks and he woke up in a coma. He was blind, didn't know what the fucking story was, and then
he still blind?
He had to put pictures around his bed to remind himself. Right. And he had pictures of his house and the pub, the 2 most important things in his life. I swear to God.
Is he still blind?
No, he's grand now. He's just a bit fucking mad,
Okay.
He's getting married again to dope. But, that's the great thing about Sunday. I hadn't seen him in ages. I hadn't sat with him, and I went around to his house, and he was hopping around the sitting room. Fucking great.
And do you have many United fans you come across now in your normal day-to-day?
Too many.
Loads. And was it great this week?
Fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a fella at my job actually, and he showed me. He goes, I got my card. He showed me on Tuesday. I got my card. Look, my grandkids got me a card and blah blah blah. And I said 70 on it. And I said, you must have known what the score was going to be, you bollocks. It looked like a 7-0 it did. But anyway, I'm just happy. That's all.
Listen, it's taken many turns, this show, I'm being honest with you. It's gone from, what's it gone from? It's gone from selling Jota to the Eurovision, going to Paris, not bothered by the game. Your mate dying, he's all right now.
His name is not actually Bertie, it's Bernie. Bernie Stokes.
Bernie Stokes, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, man was there. Then, for anyone who doesn't know what Bernie Stokes is, it's some charlatan who sells out pubs and did you ever see Clinton Baptiste and Max and Paddy where he's going around telling everyone, is there a John in the room? Is that? It's like, yeah. Is your mother sick? No. Yeah. Is your grandmother sick?
I think he got something to tell her.
Is your grandmother dead? Yeah, she's in the room. You know,
Red Tide Rising says, I've had a heart attack. Didn't stop me running around like Taz on Sunday when we battered them. I don't know where to go from that. Is there anything else? We can stay with you. We can just go through what you want to talk about, because me and Shawnee just wanted to talk about the match and we've done that.
Yeah, now
fair.
I got onto it because kind of Sunday was a mad one because we've battered them loads of times since Klopp come in, really, but that one is different because they were bang up for it. You could see the attitude of Neville and Kane towards us, and some of our fans, there was an air of arrogance, and I didn't watch any of the build up to the game, not our nervousness, but just I've kind of stopped, and I only after the game did I see Ten Hag's press conference on Friday, and I was going, is this fella fucking for real? Like, how
he was going on about the ball and airing the ball, and the ball is round.
He's airing the ball, and there's 4 officials in the game, and the ground doesn't. Now, I don't know. He managed Ajax at Liverpool, and we battered them there. But there was no fans on the ground, which may have fucking played into it. But
did we not batter them away in Ajax anyway?
We did, but to turn around and say that it's just Anfield was fucking so naive. And with hindsight, him saying that, I was thinking, no wonder you got fucking bet off the pitch because it's obviously he didn't have a word with him about it. You hear ex-players talking about how Ferguson would react to being beaten at Anfield when he wouldn't talk to players for 2 and 3 days. Their fans are wounded by this. And you only have to look at the mental gymnastics that they've been doing. It's only one game. They're living with this a long time. Like I was dealing in a WhatsApp with a fan today, and obviously it's coming out now. It's becoming more prevalent the news about Bellingham, right? Now, what you're getting is now already is I seen Goldbridge got on his back, but Bellingham does, and I may be looking into this, but he does seem to be storing the pot with the liking of Trent's picture and all. And I seen yesterday he threw up a picture wishing his dad fucking happy birthday, and he had a number 7 and all. And did you see that on the t-shirt? And everyone was saying Bellingham was taking the piss. Now, it could be coincidence, right? But one of them goes today in a WhatsApp group. He's another Dele Alli waiting to happen. I was like, you hope. That's what you're hoping. No, he's another Dele Alli waiting to happen. That's all he is. I was going, seriously? I said, you are buying for bleeding the Qataris to come in and buy him last week, but now he's going to be another Dele Alli. Why is that? Oh, I don't know. I think it's a mistake if he goes to Liverpool. I was like, why?
Well, if you're a United fan and you're saying it's another Dele Alli, I think it's a mistake if he goes to Liverpool. Why would a United fan think it's a mistake? They should think it's a great thing if he goes to Liverpool.
Exactly.
If he's another Dele Alli.
So you can see already.
Yeah, but you're right, Shani. Look, the mental gymnastics is crazy, right? And the biggest one of a lot, and I keep going on about it, is Gary Neville. Because Gary Neville is seen before the game sniggering at Graham Souness when he says, I think Liverpool will win the game. There's another clip of him saying to Graham Souness, no, this group is strong, right? He bigs them up. Now, they lose 7-0, right? And his first reaction is to say, Liverpool didn't really play well there, United just collapsed. Well, Gary, less than 3 hours ago, you were telling anyone that would listen, right? Well, standing inside Anfield, that this team are strong, this team are this, and this team are that. So why aren't they now? And the problem is that that's just a coping mechanism. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can guarantee you now, if United beat Liverpool 7-0 at Old Trafford, right? Graham Souness would sit in that studio and say, listen, United played really well, but Liverpool allowed them to. Liverpool didn't fight, didn't chase, didn't this. And
exactly. Yeah.
It's not like Liverpool were going around the pitch playing a pedestrian pace and scoring goals against United. United just couldn't chase them. They just couldn't chase them. They couldn't get near them. They couldn't do anything. As much as they tried, bar Bruno Fernandes, who was a disgrace. And now you've that idiot coming out saying, excuse me, saying, oh, it's their cup final. Parades down by the docks, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? You got beaten 7-0, and your main thing is to come out with this is parades down by the docks. Super chat from AGD says, did anyone watch Soya TV? How arrogant I don't comment on Soya TV or anybody else, not bothered by him. But the thing is, like, why can't he just own it? You know, and you've people going on saying, it showed our Freddy's again, and this is all the Glazers again. Just own the fact that your team went out, played quite well for 20 minutes, played really well, I thought, for the next 15, conceded a goal, came out in the second half, and still swaggered onto the pitch, by the way, in the second half, let it be known, and then went and conceded 2, then 3, and then just, not even that they fell apart, they just didn't work for each other. There was fellas running around loads, but they had no interest in working for each other. And their manager stood on the sideline and brought players on. And even the players that came on were a disgrace. Right? Now, I get people saying, well, United playing badly is part of it. Absolutely. But you can't
get away with more.
But you can't turn around. You cannot turn around and say Liverpool did not play well at the weekend. Right? Yes, United collapsed. But they collapsed because when it was put up to them and when they were played in a certain way, they couldn't handle it. As simple as that. And they might go out and win next week. Liverpool might go out and lose at Bournemouth. But you have to own the result. You can't turn around and say, oh, we lost that game because Liverpool weren't very good. What the fuck are you talking about? If Liverpool weren't very good, how are you 7-0?
They've been doing that for years, though. They've been doing that for years. Yeah. Years they're doing it. It's always the same.
Yeah.
Arsenal fans, I know Arsenal fans are telling me the same thing. They turn around and goes, why is it whenever they lose, it's never the other team played well. It's they didn't play well. Like, it's ridiculous. They have this thing that they, like, what was it a United fan said to me a few years ago? As soon as we get a good manager, we get the right manager and the right players, we'll be back. Sure, that's every team. That's everything. Like, the mentality sometimes is just frightening with them. Not all of them now, but a lot of them. Like, it's just, as you said, just own it. You got hammered. You did your best. Fair play, but didn't work. Good luck.
Yeah, I just can't get over it. And Roy Keane sniggering really kind of let the mask go, because Roy Keane is sniggering before that game as if Souness is talking out of his arse, and then at the end of the game, Roy Keane's dying to get stuck into United. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he took his medicine. Roy Keane
He did
took
take his medicine, but Roy Keane was then saying, "Oh, United have been, this is shown this about United, this is shown that about." But well, if this is being shown about United, why were you so confident that Liverpool wouldn't show this about United? You know what I mean? And it goes back to the thing I keep saying: they're not pundits anymore. They're characters. They're just characters in a fucking massive big sitcom that comes out with the weekend. That's what it is to me. And you're saying you didn't watch this. I don't watch any of them. I can't stand them. The only time I see any of them is when someone retweets it or someone sticks it up on social media, and I have to actually, I'd end up watching it and going, what? Because a lot of people be saying, did you see this? Did you see that? So I might watch it back. But I wouldn't never intentionally go and watch any of them.
I actually think that, like, Ten Hag is getting away with more for the weekend. Because if you look, take the 7-0 out of it, right? His starting 11 was wrong. His initial approach was wrong. And his substitutions were fucking awful. They were absolutely awful. And then the next day, the PR is in full swing with club sources says Ten Hag was in before. It's clearly him pushing out this fucking narrative that on this, that, and the other. We'll see how authoritarian he is now fucking in the next few days when tomorrow, where Huey drops and Huey puts in.
Well, like, if you go off that game, right, Bruno Fernandes shouldn't start with United the weekend after that. Luke Shaw is very close behind them for me, right? And the rest of them, like, it's not like they weren't trying. You know what I mean? Luke Shaw got very petulant for me. I don't think Varane will play. I don't think he was fit on Sunday. That was just me on the ground watching. I didn't think Varane was fit. But when you look at Luke Shaw, who's been there many years, Bruno Fernandes is meant to be a captain, right? They shouldn't play the weekend for Manchester United. Simple as that. But he probably will play them. You know what I mean?
I hate to tell them, but do you have a match against Betis on Thursday? And nobody's mentioned that. Like, they're going on about that as if it's like, oh, don't worry about that. We're worried about Southampton. Betis are not a bad side. They're good. They play good football. They have a good manager. He knows what they're doing. But they haven't. They're not even talking about that. I think, I might be wrong here. I think they have it in their head that threw that round, that threw that toy. And like, they're talking about Southampton. Like, they shouldn't be doing that. But that's the mentality of, like, with this and the media as well. Like, I genuinely didn't know they were playing Betis till today. I checked the papers. I was online, and next thing, there's Pellegrini getting interviewed, and I said, "Oh Jesus, they're playing them tomorrow." But everything was about Southampton. Like, the media and everything, like, they don't help themselves, and it's great. I think it's great, but it's to our detriment as well, because everything this week, even now, we're talking about them. We should be talking about us.
Yeah, but I know we're talking about them, but the reason we're talking about them is because the way we're being spoken about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see that performance from United on Sunday saying United were absolutely dreadful and Liverpool were bang average and scored 7 goals. Well, I came out of that ground delighted, don't get me wrong, but I looked at it and went, United put it up for 25 minutes, right? Got a goal behind, went to go behind. They're meant to be brilliant at reacting to this, by the way, right? Gary Neville says it after the second goal is scored, how United are meant to be good at second half, but this is a mess. And then literally couldn't live with Liverpool, because Liverpool decided to up it, hit them on the break, hit them with passing, sustain possession, wherever Liverpool threw them, they couldn't answer. And that's not Liverpool being bang average. That's Liverpool being brilliant at what they're doing. And United just not having the fight to go and follow them. It's as simple as that. And for anyone to be paid that amount of money to sit on national, worldwide TV and say Liverpool weren't really that good, come here, why are people paying £100 a month for this fella to come in and tell you that? because it's absolutely way off the charts as to what happened. It's absolutely mad.
Liverpool were Liverpool. That's what the whole team's Liverpool were Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's Liverpool under Klopp. That's what Liverpool is. What was on Sunday, and he won't admit it. It's all about they didn't do well. That was Liverpool. We were back. Like, we're not saying we're back, but that's the way. That's the way we've been for the last 5-0 and 4-0 last season. Now 7-0 this season. It's not a fluke. It's the way we are. It's Klopp's way of playing.
Look, Bertie, I have to let you go because of one more caller.
No problem. No problem.
I thought he was going to say no. Fuck off. I'm staying.
You need to get Al in on another show.
Yeah, well, Veranda Cheese is there. Would you not let Bertie on some other nights? Yeah, whenever you want. I don't care. When would you like to come on?
Oh, anytime. We'll give it a go.
Whenever you're.
The nights I'm allowed. I'll have me Guinness. So I'll have me Guinness the next time.
And the next time you're not visiting your friend Mick, sure you might be free and you'll be able.
No. If I meet Mick, all I get is all he does is give out about his fucking dog. That fucking thing is fucking doing. He's fucking
okay.
He's playing gassy as well. But he's just
one more question before you go. Do you think Mick on your phone or on a Ouija board?
If you ever met him, he's the moaniest bollocks, moaniest funniest fucker you ever meet.
Listen, give our regards to Mick.
I will.
Give Shawnee a bell and let us know what days you're available next week.
We'll sort that out.
Go on, Bertie, talk to because I have to let Josh in here. Josh has been waiting forever. Let me see now. There we go. Let me see if I can get Josh in here. He's been waiting for so long. Fair play to him. It's Josh. It's
fucking Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Johnny Depp looks like he'd be his evil twin. Like, he's the good one. Like, Johnny Depp is evil Bart, and he's Bart.
Thanks, Johnny.
So John Depp.
John Depp.
Josh, we're only messing. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know if I can follow Bertie's story. That was probably
Nobody
the funniest
can really
thing I've
follow
ever
Bertie,
heard.
to be fair.
Yeah, I think he said that about me last time I called in, but it's definitely switched.
Yeah, he said he didn't like following you the last time because he didn't feel he had the same looks as you. And now you can't follow him because he's basically telling you his friend died for 20 minutes and all he does is moan about his dog. So I don't know how you follow that, to be quite honest. But go on, what have we got to say? We've 10 minutes left. Shoot.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in. I mean, that game was incredible. I was a little nervous going into it just because of our form. I know we had the clean sheets beforehand, so I did feel like we were going to put up a fight. And obviously, you guys were mentioning before, we have the mentality, even though this season hasn't really gone the way that we've wanted it to. But I just thought yesterday was it was just a clear divide between the two clubs. Like here in the States, like Manchester United, you'll see it all over people who don't even watch the sport. It's just they're a big corporate, Manchester United's the one everybody recognizes. But it just makes me so proud to be a Liverpool supporter because you really saw a group of guys that took, they weren't looking in the past. They were looking at the game in front of them. And they were like, we can get at these guys. And they just put the pedal to the metal and did their thing. And it was just like poetry, man. They were having fun. And then on the other side of the pitch, you have all these guys who just because they won some little title this season, they're like, yeah, I'm glad we won it last year, but do I care about it? Not really. They think they're on top of the world, we're going to win the league this year. And the minute something starts going wrong, they just fall to pieces and they're pouting, not chasing. Some of the showings from their players, I was just like, if this was my team, if Man United was my team that I was supporting, I would be furious and embarrassed beyond the scoreline. Just the mentality of the players. It's I hate Bruno Fernandes. I don't know how you choose him as your captain, but that was just disgraceful. It was just crazy, but I would give anything to have been there at the grounds. I was on my feet screaming at the TV like by the end of it. It was incredible. So I just wanted to come in and, you know, say basically, like, I know the season's been rough, but a friend of mine who's also a Liverpool supporter, like in past seasons when, you know, like COVID season, we like lost a bunch of the last games and all this, he would always tell me, look, like we have the mentality, like we'll come back. If we go down in a game, we'll come back. We have that fight in us. And I know it's been hard to see this season, like with injuries and with the squad changing up a lot, but just for everybody watching, like we're still that club, like we still have that heart, and our players are always fighting for the badge. And like Anfield was incredible, the atmosphere, like it's not like it's gone, like it's gone away. Like Shawnee was saying, like this is just Liverpool. Like you come here, oh, it's just a ball, like there's grass here, there's air here. Like that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like you got to come and respect the stadium. And I just thought their showing was just pathetic, honestly. Like, I don't know how you play zone and like keep playing zonal marking, like when it's when you're clearly getting destroyed.
Yeah, it was mental. His approach was mad. Still playing one-on-one football at 5-0. Like, it was fucking mental.
Yeah.
You see, his approach was like, I keep saying it, United are a team that play off scraps a little bit. So they'll, if you misplace something in midfield, they'll try get Rashford or whoever through.
Yeah.
But and that's absolutely fine. But Rashford does his best work off the left. And if Erik ten Hag is going to go off on these, well, it's only this and only that, and he's going to look at form, he absolutely puts Rashford up against Trent. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because now they know each other inside out. That's absolutely fine. But the way United were approaching that game, Trent was fairly reserved, I thought, in the first half. Second half, he wasn't. But you can't drop Wout Weghorst into a 10 and ask him to play against Fabinho. And then you have Anthony on one side that doesn't want to help the lot, right? And then you have Fernandes out on the right, sorry. You have Fernandes out on the left, who wants to be involved in the game. He wants to get into the middle of the park. And then Rashford up front. And the problem was, I think it's the same. So I heard someone saying it's the same personnel from the League Cup, but they all played in different positions, bar Anthony. And why? This always screams to me of someone that's overthinking something, and they're trying to make a point. And I always like when another team tries to make a point against us, because it means they're worried. They're worried over something. They're trying to step out of our shadow nearly. And Guardiola's done it plenty of times against us and others. But at the weekend, I looked and went, he switches Casemiro and Fred. He switches the side of the pitches they play on. And everything seemed to be, I'm going to be really clever here. I'm going to do this. And it's going to work. And it simply didn't, because Liverpool didn't entertain the fact that their centre-halves would go anywhere near Weghorst. None of their business. Because if they were attracted into him, that's where it leaves Rashford one-on-one. And he's really, really good, Rashford. And Liverpool just didn't do it. They just went, Fabinho, you just stay on him and you mark him. He's your man. Elliot and Henderson, it's up to you to look after Casemiro and Fred. Everything else will fall into place. And United were trying to be way too clever. Ten Hag was trying to make a point, in my opinion. He played them all in the wrong positions. And what happened? I don't even think they believed in it, because as soon as he went 2-0 down, it just started to crumble. That kind of really kind of slim confidence they may have had in what they were doing, or slim belief, I think completely went out of them. And Liverpool just seen it, exploited it, and absolutely destroyed them. And it's just one of the best results I've ever seen. Honestly,
yeah.
It's mind blowing. Like I was coming out of the ground on Sunday, and I've come out of Anfield after some great wins, and you walk out and everyone, you can feel a buzz in the place, and you can feel a buzz, and people are chatting and all, but there was genuinely people just walking out singing to their heart's content all the way out of the ground, and it was just one of those where I think people were a little bit in shock, honestly, still in kind of shock after it, even though Liverpool were really good. You've seen all the goals happening, but honestly, Liverpool fans were coming out there just over the moon. And I just think it's a huge thing, because Shawnee, like, if you look back, going back 6-8 weeks or whatever it might be, and you thought Klopp looked really down, and you always thought he's the man to sort it out. Like, you can't just write off that sort of result, can you not? Because it's just huge in what he done. Oh, Shawnee's gone. Shawnee's gone. Did you hear that, Shawnee?
No, you're cutting now.
All right. I said 6 to 8 weeks ago, Klopp, looked really down. We always thought he'd be the man to do it. But now you look at it and you kind of go, that's, it's not complete in what he's doing, but it's shown like they can just bounce back from most things.
Yeah, but like what Klopp has done there, and his coaching staff, and Linders, and the rest of them, as much as people won't like to give them credit, is they've built a skeleton where you just need to kind of add pieces to it as it goes along, and you change it up every couple of years. And unfortunately, he didn't get everything he needed in the summer, but we saw on Sunday that like these players aren't done. They're not done. They're far from done. Like you said, Gav, to me, I think Fabinho and Henderson are back on the inhalers again. Like, that's a rocket. Like, you're looking at the league table now, and I watched Spurs tonight. They're fucking dreadful. They look worse than we did when we were struggling.
Yeah. They're
dreadful. They're completely without idea. Newcastle haven't won a game in about 6 weeks, I don't think, if I'm being honest. I think they beat Palace with a late winner. It's there for the taking, and we've a new lease of life now. There's talk now that Diaz could be potentially back for the Bournemouth game. Thiago might not be too far away. So you're looking at your squad going, we have options nearly all over the park again. And it can be a really, really strong start. Finish to this season and a start to next season, because you carry over. That's normally what happens. The COVID year, with all the injuries, we finished really strong and we just roll into the next season and we nearly do win a fucking quadruple. So once Klopp is there, I have no real concern about the future of Liverpool. I really do believe it. You were saying we have Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal back to back. We literally just need to match Spurs now till the end of the season and we get top 4. And they're all over the fucking place.
Yeah, there is. Like, somebody in the chat there says they're a little bit worried over Brighton, and Brighton have been really good.
There was always one, or West Ham were in it a few years ago as well, and they drop off. It's a different pressure. They're a really good side, but it's a different pressure.
Yeah, it is. That's our hour. We've done an hour. It's been absolutely brilliant. Josh, stay where you are. You might as well stay at the end of the show. What was I going to say to you? Yeah, listen, there was, I think Bejan was trying to call in there. Spider in the chat was asking about calling in. We've just run out of time, but genuinely, 10 o'clock next, are we playing next Wednesday? We probably are. Is it Madrid next Wednesday? It could be. So, listen, it'll probably be the week after when we do this. But just turn on the notifications on YouTube, and as soon as we put that show up in the afternoon, you'll know it's coming, and then you can give yourself time to ring in. Like I said, we'd love to have 20 people on just asking a quick question and getting in and out, and we do as many as we can. But
it'd be like playing Jeopardy on here if you let everyone on.
That's not everyone on, but if they jump on and jump off, you get a load in. But then again, when Bertie comes on, God knows what'll happen. You have to add a half an hour on from. But look, the rest of the week, I think we're doing a viewer's voice tomorrow. I haven't spoken to Matt, but I'd love to get a few more fans on just to talk about Sunday if they want to, because I've no problem 4 days after the game talking about that game again. Friday we'll have the Premier League forecast. Saturday we'll have what's that, full-time Reds after the game against Bournemouth. Sunday we'll have the Fat Back 4, and then we're back into next week. Our charity is in the description. If you want to, you can do a super chat, and whatever we make off it, we'll give to the charity. But if you want to donate or take that link and send it on to us, onto your friends, your family, your colleagues, it's in the description. You click on it to copy, you send it around, or you click on it to donate. All this stuff is free. Everything we do is free. All we ask is that, if you want to support us in any way, that's the best way to support. Supporting us means hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, giving us a review, or giving us a 5-star review if you're listening on download, and helping us out with the charities. That's it. Costs you a couple of minutes every week. That's all it costs. I think that's it. We good to go, Shawnee?
Good to go. Yeah. Spider and Bajam, we'll get you on next week.
Yeah, I'll write their names down now, so if they pop up, I'll make sure I get them on next week. who called in? Bertie called in and John Depp called in tonight. So fair play to them. It's been a pleasure with Shawnee as always. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Anything else, Shawnee, before we go? Sorry.
Now, just keep giving it to them, focus. If you know United fans, keep drilling it into them because they're wounded. They are wounded.
100%.
And make sure you're applying salt to them. And I'm telling you what, I'm green and white tomorrow night. Come on, fucking bet us, because I'm telling you what, if United think you can just rock up tomorrow, are in serious trouble. I'm telling you that now.
Right, okay. That's been it. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.